going gets tough, shine your light. Just have faith, it'll be alright. So just shine your light. When you're feeling blue, shine your light. Spirit's guiding you, shine your light. Just hold on, love will pull you through. Shine your light. Shine your light. Shine your light. Everything's gonna be alright. Shine your light.
Somebody around you. Here we go.
When the world seems dark, shine your light. Love ignites a spark. Shine your light. Everything's gonna be alright. So just shine your light.
Everybody now,
Shine your light.
come on now, we just
Shine your light.
Good morning. I'm going to Desert Trip again this afternoon. I would not be dressed like this. Did any of you go this weekend? Was it fabulous? Oh my God!
So, a lot is going on in our city, our community here. A lot is going on in the world. My guess is a lot is going on in your life. And this is our opportunity to hit pause on those things, because it's impossible to gain perspective when we're wrapped up in that energy. Okay? So this is your time to spool your mind down, concentrate on your breathing, the thing that's breathing you in and out, the thing that's beating your heart, the very essence of who you are needs to calm down, slow down, and just be in the stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh on the exhale. Let's do that again. Take another deep breath in. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Now sigh. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light my way. Show me the way. Sing after me, please. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your peace will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your truth will light my way. And your love will light my way.
I invite you to join me in consciousness as we recognize that there is only one power, one presence, one source of all life, and that is God. God is the light that is within all beings. God is the love that pulsates through all that is. God is the one power that is everywhere present in every person, every situation, every circumstance. There exists the power of God. And so as we recognize this one has its life in, as, and through each of us, as we know that this one expresses through all and see it within us and see it outside of us, we know that our faith is strong because God is always there. And so today, as we see a world that appears to be in chaos, that appears to be disturbed, we know much better than that. As we release ourselves from the constraints of the human mind and go to the spiritual mind within us, we are able to see very clearly that there is a bigger pattern emerging, a pattern of love, a pattern of grace, a pattern of God expressing. And so we open up our heart to love everybody who has been impacted by that which has taken place in our valley here. We bring love and compassion to everybody who was affected, from the victims to the perpetrator, knowing in the mind of God there is only one. There is only one, and so we love it all. We love it all, honoring ourselves for what we're seeing, but knowing that in God, everything is definitely unfolding through a greater good. And so I know that today, as we just get into the healing presence of Spirit, let it soothe us, let it comfort us. We know that our ability to change without starts within. It starts with us cleaning our own inner house. It starts with us connecting with the spiritual base of our existence, knowing that peace resides within us. And when we connect with that knowing, we bring it to the world. And so we know that we are not powerless. Oh no. We know we are filled with power because we are filled with God. And so we let that be the energy we express, seeing it change the world. And so I know that each one of us was brought here today by divine right appointment to be lifted up, to be reminded of the greatness of God that is within us and that is continually expressing outside of us. Even if we can't see it with our eyes, we know it in our heart. We know it. And so we're grateful that Dr. Joe is here to remind us of the truth, to put us back on the ground, standing on our 2 feet, lifting up into Spirit's holy presence, and being able to see that life is always unfolding for a greater good. And I know that our music today is delivered to us straight from the mind of God, from the heart of God. And we're grateful for our band for always showing up and loving us and giving us harmony. And I know all the practitioners and ministers are holding the high watch for us, leading the way for us to stand in truth, stand in the one life of God, and know where our power truly resides, in Spirit. And so I'm grateful just for the great evolution of soul that is taking place for us this morning as our minds are transformed, as Spirit shines through, as we carry that life energy of God out into our community and into our world, knowing that we are the power for change because we stand in God. And so knowing that this day unfolds through grace, through Spirit, through divine right action and order, we release our word right here and right now to that mind of God, knowing it returns fulfilled. And so let us affirm all that has been said by saying together, and so it is. Amen.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me, sending out joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me, sending out peace. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Send out, we send our love. We send our love over the mountains. We send our love. We send our love over the sea. We send our love into the heavens, and it returns to me. It returns to me, and it returns to me. So we've been talking about building a world that works for everyone, and that's going to be about, do I do this? Oh, thank you. Look, it's so nice when it works. We're building a world that works for everyone. That's what we're talking about in 2016, and boy, I tell you what, we've certainly had our year of challenges so far with that idea, haven't we? Our monthly theme is global transformation through individual transformation, which I think is appropriate and very timely. Today's theme is we strive to assist individuals in their own evolutionary awakening process, which to me sounds perfect for what I needed to hear myself this coming Sunday. So the talk title is Don't Do Anything Until I Get Back. And that's going to make a lot of sense in just a few minutes. Here's your affirmation right here. Together, please. The activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. One more time. The activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. So, the idea here is global transformation through personal transformation. And we want to know that the activity of spirit that we're using every single day is inspiring our mind and opening up the flow of good ideas, creative ideas, things to heal our lives and the lives of others. And so let's be aware of that. We're saying that affirmation today, that life is right before us, waiting for us to live more open, more richly, more abundantly in a fuller life, okay? Through our own process of evolutionary awakening, we continue to the larger consciousness and create a new evolving reality toward more connection, compassion, and cooperation. You're going to hear that idea, the idea of connection, compassion, and cooperation. Through personal transformation, through our personal transformation, what we want to learn is to connect with people, to be more compassionate with people, to actually cooperate with the laws of the universe and the laws of man, okay? when we come into that idea that we can create through an evolutionary process through each one of us, those three things, what we're going to find is we're going to start creating a world that does begin to work for everyone. Do I think that's going to happen a week from Thursday? Probably not, okay? But I know that that I can do something today, that each one of us can do something each day that can move us in the direction of greater cooperation, of greater connection, of greater compassion for one another. The Swami Biyanandananda, what a wonderful name, I'm sure he made that up, said this, and I love this quote: "I believe we were created to evolve. Otherwise, Jesus would have said, 'Now, don't do a thing until I get back.'" Think about it. We're not waiting for some second coming for us to start evolving into something greater. If so, Jesus would have said, "Wait, don't move until I come back." And that you don't read that in Scripture. But nowhere in Scripture does it say, "Hold on, I'll be right with you." So we were left here to create and evolve. We were left here to take the original if we take the original teachings of Jesus, the first 400 years after he was crucified, if you took those teachings of Jesus that were actually undocumented, the first 400 years, all that were taught to the people was about healing, was about love, unconditional love, and non-judgmentalism. Imagine if we would have kept that as the message of Christianity. Imagine if that was the only message that came out was love, 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 and more love, not judging, and being compassionate and cooperating with the laws of the universe. That's what he was talking about. So he didn't say, "Wait till I get back before you do that." No, we're meant to evolve right now. In fact, the situations that are going on locally and nationally and throughout the world are opportunities to evolve to a higher consciousness. Now, we can bask in and grieve and be angry and be bitter about the things that are happening around the world, and it's really easy to do, and I find myself doing that at times too, because I'm a human being and I hear things and it just gets under my skin. And when you hear about what was going on in the peace officers that were gunned down, you think, "Oh God, where are you in situations like this?" Does anyone else feel like that? Okay, so when you ask that question, that's your humanity surfacing. And it's okay for our humanity to surface. What we have to realize is we need to go around the corner from that humanity and understand that there is a spiritual awakening coming from everything that happens like this. That it's calling us to wake up in a certain way that we've never been awakened before. It's asking us to look at things differently, the way we've never looked at things differently before. Because if we keep doing the same thing that we've been doing, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and obviously that isn't working. Make sense? Okay, we believe we are the first species to be aware of our own evolution and the first to be able to consciously affect our own evolution and that of our world through our thoughts and our behaviors. We're the first species that can create this change. The question is, are we creating the change we want to live in? And sometimes when we look around us, my guess is, a little uncomfortable with the way things are going. And it could be anything in your personal life, or it could be something, again, that happened in the city this week, and that's something that's happening in our country, or something that's happening in the world. The question is, we're the first species that can do that. When are we going to start awakening those individuals? When are we going to become more awake? And how can we wake other people up to the idea that we have to be that change? That's what it's going to, global transformation through personal transformation. Fix myself first, and then I'm going to try to set an example, and you and I can talk about how we can improve things instead of joining in and everybody piling on top of the heap of awfulizing how the world is. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Together, please. The activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, when we acknowledge our sense of unity with nature, the threat of armies will cease and the bugle call will echo the soft notes of brotherly love. Second, we comply with what happens in nature. The capital N, the nature of things. And what is the nature of things? The nature of things is love, peace, harmony, balance, order, wisdom, beauty. I mean, you keep naming all of them. That's the nature of God. When we align ourselves and unify with the nature of what we were born to be and what we were born to express, then we won't need those armies. For what? But right now, they seem to be present because there are people that don't align themselves, myself included at times, don't align ourselves with those attributes of God. I get too wrapped up in what's going on in the world. It's really easy to do. The difference is understanding what's going on and becoming what's going on. There's a big difference. If I understand what's going on, that's one thing. I acknowledge it, I have knowledge around it. When I become, and it becomes the fiber of my being to watch these conflicts happen on a national basis and watch conflicts happen in the world and watch conflicts happen between my neighbors and between the peace officers, when I become those things, I'm no longer able to look at them objectively. I'm now part of the swirling problem. One has to be able to distance themselves, still seeing it, be compassionate, like we talked about, be cooperative with things, connect with things, but don't become those issues. Because that's the divisiveness we're talking about. That's the duality. That's the split that's happening. This is all about unity, not dividing. It's not something that we are evolving into, rather that we are evolving from. It's not what we're going into. It's what we're coming from. Look at your problems, look at your individual things that you have going on in your life, and then start taking them out, just spreading them out from your house, just keep moving mile by mile until we're around the world. It's not about what we're going into, it's where we're coming from. Because if my eyes and if my consciousness, if I'm coming from a place of anger, how do I expect the outside to change? If I come from a place of fear or scarcity or lack, dissent, how is the outside of my world going to change? It's going to, whatever I'm looking from, I'm looking through, or looking to, I'm looking from. Does that make sense? I'm looking through those lenses right now. So if my lenses of my experience are negative, are fearful, are scared, then my experience is going to reflect that. That's the energy that's going to come forward. And let's face it, there's a lot of that energy swirling around. And it's really easy to catch it. All you need to do is take 2 minutes and watch social media, or 2 minutes on CNN or whatever news you watch. It takes 2 minutes to just get on and you feel yourself just like, I feel like sometimes I'm on a ceiling fan. It's not stopping. And it's not stopping. You know, I got real upset again this morning. I said to William, I'm like, we need to lower the flags again. How many weekends, oh my God, how many weekends this year have I stood before you and said, aren't you tired of lowering the flags? It feels wrong. How many weekends this year have we stood here and went and said, and I've talked to you about it, said, we've got to be more changed. We've got to do it. And it's not just us. We're the beginning of it, and I'll teach you about that in a minute. Our position is one in which we are becoming more and more aware of something which existed before we were even aware of it. The reason why we're upset is because we know it's not supposed to be this way. And so that's the return to nature that I'm talking about. When we see all this anger and we see all this divisiveness and we see these shootings and things, we know it's wrong. It feels intuitively wrong. Why? Because we're actually trying to get back to our original nature of things. So we know it's wrong. Our position is not about, it's about our awareness. It's about these things becoming more up front in our lives. And there's got to be a reason. I can't explain everything. In fact, in our new member packet, I think it says that one of the rights of a minister is not to have all the answers. And I don't. I wish I did. If I did, I'd be making a lot more money, right? We'd be doing all things on a global scale. I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. When things happen in your life like this, these are calls for us to become more aware of what we all need to become. We need to spend more energy becoming it. Does that make sense? Say that with me, please. The activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. So we're going to talk about connectedness now, how everything is connected. Bruce Lipton said this: there are two basic myths in old science. The first is that everything is separate from everything else, and the second is that our inner experiences have no effect on what goes on outside of our bodies. Two old myths that we're not connected to everything. You know, we're connected to, you know what, it really rang home to me last night how connected I am just to the situation in Palm Springs when I found out that one of the officers that lost his life was my friend's uncle. And suddenly I felt, it felt different to me. Not that it should have, but I acknowledged in my mind that suddenly I was even more connected to a situation because I know his family that lives in La Quinta, and I know that they're grieving and they're hurting. You know, and he even said to me in a text, he said, if you don't mind, his wife, would you mind meeting with her? And I'm like, absolutely, just tell me what to do. Let me be of service. I mean, it shows you how connected we are to everything. And sometimes we don't know that we have a connection, but we really do. We're connected to all things. I don't care whether you're in Indiana, India, or Indio. It doesn't matter. All things are connected. And one thing impacts everything. We've known this. We keep teaching this over and over again. Let's talk about it again. He also brought up this idea of quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. So Bruce Lipton talked about this concept of quantum entanglement. What does that mean? It means once something is joined, it is always connected, whether it remains physically connected or not. So once something is joined, it remains connected. So how does this play out? Easy. Look at the Big Bang Theory. Everything started from one thing. Therefore, I'm connected to all things. When did I decide that I'm not? When in my consciousness did I say, oh, that doesn't impact me. That doesn't affect me? At what age did I come up with this idea that I don't need to worry about that because that's not happening in my country or my community or my neighborhood? When did we come to that consciousness? But if you look at it, at one time, everything was connected. So if that's the case, then that concept of quantum entanglement exists today. We've just sort of ignored it. Everything is connected to everything else. Say that with me, please. The activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. Maybe we should visit the old model of competition. I'm not talking about businesses, two businesses going at it, whatever that. I'm talking about maybe we should look at how people and just in general, that idea of competition. Maybe this whole stuff that's going on in the world is asking us to move from competition to cooperation. Maybe this is a call to cooperation. Instead of the division, it's a call to unity. You can decide however you're going to play the cards. They're yours to play. You get to decide whether you're going to say, I'm going to remain divided, or I'm going to find the place and unify with it. I'm going to keep harping on the differences instead of looking at our commonalities. I'm going to keep doing what I've done for years because it feels comfortable, because I don't have to change what I'm doing. I don't have to look at new things, or I can actually begin to change. Because we can't keep doing the same thing that we've been doing in our lives, and because the communities, actually, this community, this sucks. This part sucks. I hate to use the word sucks, but it sucks. What's happening in the world is an outpicturing of our consciousness as a whole. And we have to look at that. We have to look at that. Even though some things are on the extreme side, it's still somewhat of an outpicturing of that, because we're all connected to it in some way, shape, or form. So it's an outpicturing of our consciousness. We have to start changing inside. Each person in this room, each person outside of this room, up to us to start making those differences, those changes. So how can we do that? I was looking at the idea of the caterpillar to the butterfly. Let me get a sip of water. So when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, there's this thing called imaginal cells. Have you heard about that? So what happens for some reason, in the life of a caterpillar, at some point, these new cells begin to appear in the caterpillar. They're called imaginal cells. And the caterpillar's normal cells they don't like them. They're trying to fight them. They're trying to resist them. But those imaginal cells multiply faster than their ability to get rid of them. And so what happens is those imaginal cells begin to take over the caterpillar. And eventually, those cells become so predominant that they actually cause the caterpillar to go into that state of where they become a cocoon. And what we think is actually, we look at it and you watch it, there's all those imaginal cells continuing to take over the life of the caterpillar. It can't fight back anymore because they outnumber them, they multiply quicker, and they're stronger. And there comes a point where that in that cocoon, that happens and something new emerges from that, and that we know is the butterfly. But that's how it happens. The actual cells begin to take over the other cells. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Not that. This. The universe is one being, and we are all its cells. We are those imaginal cells. You and I are those imaginal cells, and one by one, not that we need to eat other people or destroy other people, but we have to see the power within those cells. You know, a caterpillar, when it walks across like a big tapestry, a big rug, the big rug, the caterpillar only sees the environment around it. It only sees the color that surrounds it. It doesn't see the greater beauty lifted up that the butterfly soars over. It doesn't see the bigger picture. So we're all asked to be those cells. The universe is one being, and we're all its cells, all essential and responsible for the well-being of the whole. We are responsible to start eating up that consciousness. Make sense? Our actions have an impact on the whole. From competition to connectedness to compassion. That's what we're talking about. Global transformation through the individual. To go from an idea of being competing and one side or the other, or good, bad, evil, right, wrong, to go from that to the idea of connectedness. And if we could bring that idea of connectedness in, and if we can move from connectedness to compassion, the bugles will sound differently. The outside impact will change for us. I'm going to close with this. Eckhart Tolle wrote this, and William, we're going to go through this twice. You are just not a meaningless fragment in an alien universe, briefly suspended between life and death, allowed a few short-lived pleasures followed by pain and ultimate annihilation. Underneath your outer form, you are connected to something so vast, so immeasurable and sacred that it cannot be spoken of. And yet, I am speaking of it now. I am speaking of it now, not to give you something to believe in, but to show yourself how you can use it for yourself. So the personal transformation, go back to please, the personal transformation begins when we realize we're not just some floating forms that don't have purpose. Every conversation you have with anyone in your life has a purpose. Every one of them has a purpose. Every time we choose to go on a social media or post something that is negative in any way, shape, or form, we're living out our purpose. Is that your purpose? Is that bringing you closer to connectedness? Is that bringing you closer to compassion? Is it bringing you closer to cooperation? It's a question we all have to ask ourselves because, I'm not exactly innocent in that. My conversations all have, according to Paul, keep your conversations in heaven. Ooh. I think I've dabbled in a little hell lately. I've been playing in hell quite a bit. And you know what happens? It reflects in everything. Even when I dabble in it a little bit, I see it impacting my relationships. I see it impacting my long fuse that I have. Why are you laughing? So it impacts all relationships. It impacts everything you do. You are not just a meaningless fragment in an alien universe briefly suspended between life and death, allowed a few short-lived pleasures followed by pain and ultimate annihilation. Underneath your outer form, you are connected to something so vast, so immeasurable and sacred that it cannot be spoken of, but I'm going to speak of it now. Because I'm going to speak of it now, not to give you something to believe in, but to show you how you can use it. We are the cells of change. As much as we would love to go back and change what's happening in our world today, we can't rewind. We can't rewind. We can only come from the place where we're at. So as much as you want to rewind your life and say, I wish I would have, should have, could have done something different, it's not going to happen. Let's all of us be those cells of change. Every one of us. It's the only way we're going to make it through this big thing that's trying to give birth. There's something, I really believe this, there's something coming from all of this discord and chaos that is going to put us in that right place. I'm choosing to believe that instead of choosing to believe that it's going to be the end of this world. I'm choosing to believe that this chaos and these things that are happening in our world are calls for us to move forward with greater cooperation, with greater compassion with each other and connectedness, not distancing and dividing. Think of those little cells in each one of us. That's who we are. And so ends your lesson. Thank you, everybody.